at her trail, an oncoming darkness, impending doom. The scrolls on the tree, a somber gloom. Run as you will, you cannot escape. The darkness pursues, embrace now your fate. The cost of your cowardice you cannot afford. Hide from the shadows or fall on your sword.
Your night's just beginning, this hour you face. My craving for fear, I've acquired the taste. Your strength shall abandon, your speed shall abate. For 400 years I've been lying in wait. My form made beautiful, I now seek to bind. In my web of deception, you're now intertwined. The sound of the strings entice you to me. Together, forever, embrace we shall be.
The moon turns crimson, the night is bleak. We place our nightmares on the great tree. We suffer now for just one night. Our fears combusting at the sunrise.
The warden arrives, your soul must be tamed. In darkness you hide, very mightedly chained. You flee persecution, yet usher disaster. And within my lantern I'm herald as master. Weakness defines you, your honor abandons. Deception, your guise, are you so underhanded? Yourself and your speed may be your claim to fame. But once I have you, I'll take even your name.
Vengeance is coming, my spear shall await. Can you escape justice or run from your fate? Impale thee on misery, on punishment you bleed. Your heart is uneasy, I see what you need. For years we torment you, the demons you flee. Your pattern's sporadic, it's true entropy. I've cornered you now beneath this crimson moon. Rainer, you're trapped, prepare for your doom.
The moon turns crimson, the night is bleak. We place our nightmares on the great tree. We suffer now for just one night. Our fears combusting at the
I'm trapped, I'm
sunrise.
surrounded, the demons close in. Death begins howling upon noxious wind. I fear for my life, for the lives of my kin. Yet life on the run is just no way to live. My fear of the unknown or binding corruption. My fear of injustice or wanton destruction. My every year fleeing, my terrified nights. But I've run forever, and now I must fight.
The moon turns crimson, the night is bleak. We place our nightmares on the great tree. We suffer now for just one night. Our fears combusting at the sunrise.
Okay, welcome back everyone. This is Game 2 between the Wannabe Banditos and Bronze 5 Age. We have very fast gotten into picks and bans, and as you can see here, the bans are pretty much the same. Coming out on the side of the Wannabe Bandits, branding the Darius, Swain, and Syndra. And the bans are pretty much the same coming out from Bronze 5 Age, banning the Kale, Blitzcrank, and this time, instead of their other ban, I can't remember what their last ban was, but they're getting rid of Kha'Zix instead of Zac. So they left Zac up for this game, and the Wannabe Bandits pretty much said, called their bluff, and pick Thresh as their first pick instead of Zac, and Bronze 5 Age counters with Zac, Ezreal, and then back to the bandits. They go back to Kledjin. This is the same comp so far that they ran in the first one, but now it's Ansem's turn to get a counter pick into Bien Lion Power, and as well as Shadow's chance to counter a Thad, although he did counter with the Ari into Oriana, but it looks like they're the bands of Fiora and Victor still the same, so I think the Wannabe Bandits banned the same 5 champions in both games, if so pretty close to it, as Tam Kench. Is that a proxy pick? Is that a jungle Tam Kench? I'm looking here. I don't see any notes in the chat room, the Slack room, sorry, of a proxy pick for the Tam Kench, but maybe they message each other directly here, as we will probably see. Boop. Tam Kench is Hecarim, so that's a Hecarim jungle for Vance, and Ari being picked up once. Oh, well, Ari's actually going to be picked up by Thad the Destroyer this time. Into Tom is okay. I'm getting multiple messages here. And Anivia is the counter by Shadow into the Ari. So we have people dropping out, get invited back in, and we will be back into the pick bands here and redo that here in just a moment. So while they're getting all situated, how's it going tonight, chat? How's July? Is everyone baking as much as I was today? The fix the door at my job. And as a result, it was open for like 4 hours today, and it sucked. The fixing of the door was 2 dudes taking measurements of the door, because the door doesn't shut and lock like it's supposed to. It's the door. The people that installed the door frame did a fucking terrible job, and so they came to fix it. And after taking measurements and then going out to the truck for a little bit, while they left the door open, they then came back and with this giant like saw thing, power saw, and yikes, he just like went at the wall, and I thought he was gonna like redo the entire do the entire frame like he probably should have. No, he took the power saw and made the opening in the metal door frame bigger. So the door that's not straight can now the deadbolt lock can now go in. That took like 2.5, 3 hours today for them to figure that out. It was ridiculous. I was so mad. I was so mad. I was like, are you serious? You're supposed to, like, if you install a door in a door frame, and the company that does it such a bad job that they have to like come back within like 6 months to like fix it, you would think that they would just like try and redo it instead of just creating a bigger opening for the deadbolt. But they got paid for it. Not my responsibility, but I was a little upset about that. So, nothing, chat. I got a language. Oninoken, are you watching with your little one? If so, I apologize. Maybe you can wear headphones or earmuffs. Usually this is a family-friendly stream. Every once in a while there'll be a swear word drop, so I'll try not to be too loud for you. So we get the finest. Well, that's good. Teach them while they're young. the pretty colors and the crazy things. As we see the final the picks here, run back through the band face. Oh, he shoutcasts as well. I bet that's probably very entertaining. As we see the Ezreal for Butterfreelo. Haven't seen a lot of Ezreals recently. Maybe it's definitely gonna have more mobility against the full all-in comp of the Kled, Hecarim, and Ahri, with Thresh, following it up. Whereas Bronze 5H definitely going for a lot more. Still going with the two tanky members with the Alistar and the Zac. Yeah, but they have a lot more wave clear. Well, they have less wave clear in this one, I guess, because the Anivia is going to bring out some nice wave clear in the mid lane against Ahri once she hits 6, and as long as she can keep her mana at a reasonable position, either with Tear, Rod of Ages, Blue Buffs, that type of thing. Ezreal, we'll see what he goes for in this comp. Maybe he goes Blue Buff Ezreal. Maybe he goes, Trinity Force into, or actually probably not even go. Well, you probably go Sheen into Blade of the Ruin King and the Trinity Force. Just kind of depends on how lane goes, I guess, and how much gold he can get stacked up. Obviously, Zac being one of the most dominant jungles, not only of League of Legends right now, but of Vantage League as well. All the divisions looking really nice with Zac being played pretty much everywhere for that. And the Irelia versus Kled matchup. This is something that Ansem has picked himself into, and we'll see how well that goes for him. Up in top lane, I think that Irelia should have the advantage as long as the Kled split push isn't too strong. It kind of depends on how the rest of the map's going to go. Both of these champions kind of want to duke it out early, but Kled has a lot more ability to flank, especially because of his ultimate. Is going to be extremely impactful with the Hecarim, and that super just get that Hecarim a running. Ult into mid lane, and Anivia is kind of going to be a sitting duck there in mid lane if you have Kled ult, like let's say level 6 or level 7 Kled backs to base, Hecarim backs to base, and they both just run down mid lane, and they decide that they're just going to tower dive Anivia, and Anivia maybe has egg, maybe doesn't have egg, but Anivia is going to be stationary. Kled's going to be running in, Hecarim's going to be coming in right behind. That's going to be a lot of damage with those diving champs, and they may not even care that there's a tower there. So that should be interesting. Iocles on this Jhin once again for Game 2, and we saw how much the crits were doing for him in Game 1. We'll see if he gets as lucky as he did in Game 1 with the early crits. Those level 15, or not pre-15, IE crits that he was getting in lane. Once he got that IE though, those crits were happening. Ziggy on the Thresh. He apparently only plays supports with hooks. I've seen him play Blitzcrank and Thresh. In Vantage anyway, coming out of the support position, so he loves his Qs going on in and landing them hooks. The team comp for the Wannabes is a little bit better formed here with the, like I said, the all-in, all-dive comp, whereas you kind of have a 4-1 split, which is basically what they're going to have to do with Anivia and Ezreal kind of doing in the 4 and the 2 tanks in front of them, and then have the Ezreal ult to either help with the split or to kind of slow down or speed up a side lane pushing. But I don't know if they're getting flanked on one side by Kled, a Hecarim on the other side, Ahri charming around. I don't know if it's going to be good enough against or the 1-3-1 that the Wannabes could pull out as well with sending either Ari to a sideline. Although they kept Ari or Thad in the mid lane pretty much the whole time last time, and they sent Idocles to the sidelines to pick up minion waves. But I think that may have been the fact that Idocles was so far ahead with his crit items that no one on the other team could pretty much fight him. And it was just the aspect of how it was going to be run. So we are going to be jumping into the game here in just a moment, and this should be a blast. Okay, so on the blue side, we will be having the wannabe banditos or bandits or whatever, they're something like that. And we'll have Beyond Lion Power on top lane in Kled, Vance in the jungle on Hecarim, Thad the Destroyer on Ari mid lane, Jhin AD carry being played by Idocles, Ziggy Thresh. On the side of Team Bronze 5H, we have Ansem 571 and top lane Irelia, and Alston Reztip playing Zac Jungle, Shadow 2097 on Anivia, Butter Freelo on Ezreal, and Psychopez playing Alistar. That's a cow. Oh, if we get cowbells, we're gonna have cowbells. That's gonna be great. And it looks like both teams, we got another invade. So last time the teams didn't see each other until the very end, right about when the jungle's spawning, and Bronze 5Age, you're waiting in this bush and no one's gonna find anyone. No one's gonna be even close this time. That's a nice ward there by someone. Ziggy looks like his ward is down. This is extremely patient out of the 5 of them for Bronze 5Age. Okay, now all 5 have left. We'll see if Kled goes back up the top lane. And nothing is happening. Ezreal, no. Aurelia gonna make it up there in time? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Taken the long way, but the safe way, on the side of Ansem. Really long, safe way here. As it looks like we got some pings going out onto Vance, and same onto Ansem up in top lane. So the laners have started to get to lane, or the mid laners anyway, and starting their CS. Junglers have started their buffs, and Aurelia already quick with the Qs. Got 3 down. And Hook comes out in onto Alistar, who likes being pulled in. As Kled's going to get out the pull here. And we'll see how this trade goes up in top wave if they want to continue. As the charm comes out from Thad this time on Shadow. He had enough charms in the last game. He's returning the favor to Shadow in this one. And I think the, the damage being done as a hook lands from Ziggy and the flay into the W, and a crit from Jhin on that 4th shot as Ziggy takes a lot of minion damage on his way out, as he is going to be able to pop some potions, try and keep up sustain, but this Jhin and Thresh will definitely be pushing into Alistar Ezreal pretty early and pretty hard, as there's not a whole lot of wave clear coming out from the 2 of them, as looks like Zac is going to be going up top for a gank, as Kled has gotten out of, gotten off of Skarl, but is almost up to that point. I think they may want to wait for him to redo, as also is staying really patiently up here in this bush. Ziggy, I don't know if you know what a cooldown is, or if you just hit Q the entire time in lane, because every time it comes out here, it's you just Q, throwing those Qs out there. Just see some farming going on, and that's going to be a ward by taken out by the vision plant. Hecarim hit the vision plant, as we see Gnar is gonna not Gnar, sorry. Kled is gonna get Skarl back here in just a moment. With some damage to minion or tower, we'll be able to jump back on that little crazy dinosaur and continue up the laning. As Butterfreelo's actually already burnt heal in the spot lane. Missed that one, but we will see what happens. This is kind of the lull of the game here. See, there's Ziggy throwing Qs again. Ziggy should change his name to ZIQQIE. That way he has more Qs. Oh, and down goes Skarl yet again. This Aurelia and the minions keeping, Kled off of that dinosaur pretty well in lane, even though it's not contributing to her ability to CS at the moment. And she's going to go all in, and we'll see what happens here. And one more auto. Ooh, misses the little shotgun shot there from Kled, so not back on Skarl yet, but if that had hit, Skarl would have been up and active, and there she is. Bot lane is farming. Ezreal actually doing a better job this game on the farm on Ezreal than he did on the Caitlyn. So maybe more familiarity on the side, as a nice little headbutt there by the. Z didn't throw a Q. He does throw a lantern over the wall to suggest that Hecarim's coming, and still throws the Q, even after Ezreal and Alistar were backing way off of the map here and was predicting on what was going to happen. It looks like the top laners have back and got a buy-in. We have Doran's shield and boots versus 3 long swords, and that is a lot of damage coming out, as we now see Vance running away from the Anivia and Zac here. Just trying to get some farm going. Vision control over the Scuttle Crab, and we missed first blood because apparently Anivia killing a minion is way more cooler. Way more cooler? So with the top laners both flashless and teleportless, Anivia is now backing, probably going to pick up a tier here and maybe parts of a Rod of Ages. We'll see what... Oh, it's just straight for the Catalyst, and Boots is really nice. Relly was able to get that wave pushed all the way, and Kled's going to miss about 1-2 waves of experience in CS. That's going to be important for him. Probably could have used his ult maybe to get back to lane, but I'm not sure if that was really necessary. Zac coming down here looking to maybe get a gank off, but just clears out the Scuttle Crab, as we possibly see a fight over the exchange to blue buff to Anivia, as she's definitely going to want to get this so she can really keep the pressure on Ahri in mid lane here. Psychopez goes in pretty well with these headbutts, trying to keep Jhin from, either getting that 4th shot off on something. Let's check in on the jungles. And Anivia has it. There she is. Blue buff. And this top and fight lane has gone pretty interesting, as Kled keeps getting pushed up, but keeps getting knocked off Skarl, and I really has to play that game of going in between getting Skarl back, and with Skarl coming back in, that's probably going to be a kill on BN Lion. Go back to the top laners. Stop. Don't care about it. Goes back in. And one more auto. Ooh. Relia finishes that off. Help of Sheen in that one, definitely for sure, in getting that kill. We'll see if a hook comes out and Ezreal is going to E out, but not the Thresh. Thresh has now gone under tower and has to flash out, as Psychopez has popped the ult. Good job on the Alistar on keeping control up in this bot lane here, and having Ezreal basically at the same CS and making sure Ziggy can't leave lane to start going affecting other parts yet. And Alistar goes in, but gets hooked and does not have, or does have flash. Probably should have maybe spent it on exhaust before he left, because Idocles is 6. He's out of mana though, so he cannot pop the curtain call. He's trying to get this lane pushed in. Ezreal's trying to push out before it gets pushed into him. As the bot laners probably are going to have to back now with their gold. Let's see what items they pick up as Irelia and Kled go back to the duel. And Kled still has the CS advantage up in this top lane, as Vance actually has taken blue buff, so Ahri does not have that to try and help counter the Anivia, as we see the junglers maybe go in here and stun off from Anson. One more kill and one more Q, not enough, as Anivia is goes back to mid lane. Hecarim's going to come in here though and just run right into Irelia. Irelia is going to not get the stun because Vance is going to just E out, and Flash is now up for, oh no, right when Zac shows up. Great counter engage comes in. I don't know why that happened. Zac must have just dropped him straight back down, as Irelia is going to go in, but Hecarim's return as well. A nice shutdown by the Hecarim, as we have 4 people up now in top lane. Here comes the Kled ult. We'll see if that stun is Anivia with the wall, pushes them off, stuns in onto Thresh, and trying to help prevent the Zac Blobless from going down. Ahri has now landed a charm and Lun 0-2. Down goes the giant Bloblet guy, as Q's coming out. Anivia is stuck here with no blue buff and throws out. And here comes Alistar with the headbutt pulverize, gets in onto Idocles, and he's going to drop. Ezreal is here as well. Watch out. There's the charm from Ahri if a damage gets pumped in. Ooh, one more Q. Ezreal does not have ult. Those shots coming out. Well, everyone's in top lane now, as the teams came to each other's aid. So Ezreal with the Sheen himself in a tier is going to be pushing in on this top tier 1. Irelia has just gone straight down and started soloing Dragon. While Kled, it looks like, is going to be going down the bot lane as well. We'll see if Hecarim goes down to the bottom half of the map, as the bot laners are now going to the top lane. The top laners are now going towards the bottom half of the map. The junglers are still getting out onto the map, and same with Anivia, who did pick up a kill and assist in that fight. I think this is going to be a Ocean Dragon for Bronze 5 Age here. Oh, Irelia is going to jump straight in onto the Kled and Skarl and just unload the full combo, trying to pump out as much damage as possible before. And Kled is going to come back, and with Kled coming back onto Skarl, has to flash and Q away on the side of Anivia to escape this one, popping all of her potions here, as we see the Hecarim is probably just going to ult behind this tower and get in. Yep, that's a dead Irelia. And Idocles looking really low up in this top lane after trades, probably with the Alistar and Ezreal. Jhin was, getting these heals off on these crits. Maybe not be enough right now to sustain at the moment, as the focus on making sure that Kled here is able to still compete with Irelia looks like the top goal of the side of Bronze 5 Age, as Zax is going to E in and take out the that Yordle, as Alistar is going to go in on top lane. One more. There goes Idocles. He's going to drop on the Jhin, not having as good a game as he did in game 1, where he was like something like 14-1 and like 7. Only 1-2-1, has not got to that IE yet. This is a much slower paced game. I remember saying something like there was 18 kills at 15 minutes in game 1. Well, we're only at 10, and we're only at kills now, and we're only at not even at 14 minutes. So, slightly slower game, I guess. Anivia picked up the blue buff on her side of the map, which allowed Ahri to push in a nice sizable wave here, as a pink ward's going to spot out the Hecarim, and Zac has stolen red buff and is jumped on out of there too. So there's the curtain call opening up for Jhin, just to lay some poke damage down, as I don't think they really care. Ari's still coming up here. Ziggy tries to go all in, but there's the damage as Ari gets stunned by the Alistar, and heals comes out now from Ezreal, who is burnt flash, and one more damage. Ezreal misses the ult in onto Ziggy, and there's the hook, and with one more shot, down goes Ezreal. 3v2 up here in top lane as they're pushed really far up as Irelia actually finishes off the kill of Kled in bot lane yet again. So the bot lane pushed up, not wards, or, well, there is a ward in the river, but not far enough back to see the Ahri roaming up as Trishia pushed the tower. And this is going to be first brick tower to the wannabes here. Nice little respawn tower by Shadow here in mid lane. We'll see if Vance donates this blue buff over. Doesn't look like it. No, he's just going to straight up take it. So not a lot going on right now as everyone gets back in onto the map. Looks like Ezreal's come mid as Anivia's collecting that farm up in top wave. Not sure why you... I mean, more mobility on the side of Ezreal to escape things. It depends on where the other main laners are going to send their opponents as we look to see who's going to go where. Anivia really wants to sort of sit in this mid wave and catch the CS with its farm, and she's still scaling, but Ezreal's still scaling as well with the tier build here. Not much he can do. He does not have a Trinity Force yet, whereas Jhin now has that IE, and those crits are going to be extremely impactful, and we'll see how much Eidicles can do with them in this game as he did in Game 1. Ezreal may be fired bot lane here, or this tower may just drop. It looks like it's just they're just going to let it go. So we see the supports posturing for wards for both teams here. Maybe looking at doing some Rift Herald action as Zach's going to annoy the Hecarim. And we'll see what... Ezreal's down in this... collecting this giant wave down here in the tier 2. As this Rift Herald, it's really going. Jeez, it can get really far. Go back to the... I don't care about the AD carries farming in bot lane. We want to check out the action going on by the Rift Herald. Missed hook it from the Thresh here as everyone's on a pink ward. And we actually have a teleport by the Irelia down to bot lane. And as soon as she showed up down there, Kled Olsen with the engage. Anivia's over the wall doing a nice damage, trying to keep in Zac. It's going to go down. And Anivia's trying to get a nice stun there as Psychopath is going to go out. Hecarim's going to take out Zac, and now they're going to have the advantage on Rift Herald. So Aurelia coming straight in, not good enough as the hook lands onto Ansem, who tries to dance out with the... oh no. The Ignite takes her down. Ezreal's the only one up as Anivia had to back to base. Let's see if he pokes over the wall, trying to get some poke damage in. Ult is up, and he does have vision of this, as Ezreal with the hook into the Ahri Charm, into the Hecarim ult. You're dead. And with that kill, Rift Herald is picked up, this time by Kled, who was 0-5-5 with 94 CS. So a little bit of a struggle here in the sustain aspect, but should be able to hopefully use the Heralds properly. I guess, sorry, the Hecarim picked it up, who is 4-0-3 and is doing fairly well, has picked up that Cinder Hulk, and is now going for Trinity Force for himself. in the jungle. Ari has picked up the Luden's Echo to try and help with a little bit of wave clear. Anivia is still scaling. This is a really late tier on her half. Ezreal, though, has finished off the Trinity Force. Psychopez with the headbutt, but not in time, as Ziggy was able to get the ward down. And Jin is just walking up to Anivia's face and laying the crits. And with this Air Drake being fought over, I think they're just going to hand it over. They're posturing like they may want to fight it, but I don't think they really do. And yep, that's the dragon going over to the Hecarim. Ziggy looking for more hooks. Once we get out of laning phase, not as many hooks as there is one, though. Great. Although Anivia's stun returns, absolutely wrecking house. Past the pop to heal as Aurelia is going to jump in with one more. Oh, great hook to get the Aurelia away from the Jin, as Jin's now going to open up and try and lay the current call damage on it, but Hecarim body blocking goes down. Ari is now here. It gets actually charmed, and she's going to drop. Nice thresh here, hook in here, but hooking into what? As Ziggy flashes over the wall. We'll see if they want to continue following this. Ezreal sure does, as he is over the wall, but here comes Skarl and Kled, and that's going to be a dead 80 carry, as Zac jumps right over everything, but is now being slapped to death with that knife thingy that Kled uses, as Aurelia's come around the backsides, and here we have the Blade Lady, who's going to queue right in onto Thresh, and with a nice stun, Zac coming over the wall, and the CC from these tanks right now is really strong, and Skarl's going to run away, not enough, as he gets out of the Nivea ult, and Zac is running the little race here. They're just trying to get onto one of those champions, but look like they're going to be able to sustain through it. So the split push game out of Ansem is working to the point and then collapsing, and this is a perfect time for the Hecarim, after everyone's backing the base, to just spawn the Rift Herald, try and use it to take as much damage out of this tier 1. It's their last tier 1, and that's it. It's gone. One auto attack, and the Herald takes out that tower. So an acceptable use out of them. I think that the Rift's not going to be able to get any damage on the tier 2, because all that CC from those champions right there is going to lay the hurting on it. Idocles gets hit up by Zac and the Alistar, and just headbutt pulverize everything. Is going to go down to Shadow. That is a lot of CC coming out for a kind of an immobile carry. I mean, he has no ability to movement speed buffs or anything, or jumps or anything other than getting speed buffs when he crits. But if he's not autoing, he's not critting. As we see Aurelia goes in, and so is Psychopez on this Alistar, makes the Hecarim ult out, while the rest of the team is focusing in some damage on the tower, as Ezreal may be looking here. Thresh is going to come in here with the hook. Ezreal ease into the bush. Let's see, throw some Qs back over the wall, try and prevent this going down, while the top lane is being pushed in, or pushing for the blue team here. The red team has the bot lane pushing, but that tier 1 damage is not going to be enough probably to take that tower. Well, that's probably about 2 or 3 minion waves up, stacked up together in that tier 2. Someone has to go up there and get that. It looks like it's going to be Aurelia. Now, Zac already has a Randuin's Omen, and it looks like that's exactly where Aurelia is going for her second full item, because they know that Jin crits are, they hurt a lot, especially after game 1. So they did want to try and reduce the damage from those crits, also to just get some slows, so even more damage can be pumped out by this Anivia and Ezreal in the team fights. And Kled's going to get a nice split push down here on the bot lane as we see Aurelia coming over, but that's not going to be in time. Ben Yen Lion, 1 or 2 more autos. He does have red buff that should be able to take it. And with him gone, we're going to go back to this team fight down here as they're going to hook in Zach, who's going to have to ult out. It's not going to be enough as Vance Vance is going to get in onto Butterfreelo, who's just running for his life as Jin was able to get in the back and or stay in the back and just hit away with those crits. Is also Restip's going to go with the jump, but gets rooted with the W here and flash out by Anivia. But 1, 2, can we make it 3 and 4? That's 4 sent to the egg realm for Shadow Realm or Shadow. Damn it, my jokes are terrible tonight. As that's 4 for 0 as once Irelia left. And they just slightly poor engage when you don't have the full 5v5 or 5v4, which you had before while Aurelia was there. And the capitalization of the Wannabes was able to take out all the standing members of Bronze 5 Age there. And now they're going to take the Tier 2 in mid lane. Also looks like they're going to be able to finish off this Tier 2 in top lane. This is a pretty big gold swing here as we kind of look at the gold totals for the different players. A lot closer this game, but Hecarim right now really far and above, almost 3,000 gold up over this Zac, which basically means he's going to be that full item ahead here when he goes back and purchases, whereas everywhere else is pretty even. Although that 80 carry position is once again in the favor of the Jhin. And Psychopath's clearing out some wards here in Dragon, but it looks like they may want to start Dragon, but they're gonna suck because it's the free Baron. That's a free Baron for them. Well, that takes forever. Zac's gonna come in, does not get the steal on this one, but they will take out the Hecarim right away with Alistar. This Zac and I realize super tanky right now at the moment, and down goes Kled. Ezreal has not been here this entire fight. Anivia was over the wall dealing lots of damage, but so is Jhin, and now it looks like they're going to get onto Thresh. So 3 of the members down on the side of the Wannabes. They only lose their support for Bronze 5 Age in Alistar, but they did let the Baron go over onto the carries, which is going to be pretty rough right now as Butterfreelo tries to go in there and dump a lot of damage in onto Ahri. It's successful, but those Baroned up minions are too powerful right now for him to fight alone. This probably means that this is going to be, looks like a dragon here for, oh no, Alcip takes 1, 2, misses the third, fourth one, does not happen for Jhin in this one. Here as the crits are way too strong as Zac jumps on out of there. We'll see if they can get this blue buff over to Shadow before the super Baroned up minions start pushing in any of these waves. Although luckily, I guess luckily if you want to leave it that, they don't have any outer towers anymore. They just have their inhibitor towers. They can probably make a decent stand at one or two, or one of them for sure. 2 of them, most likely. I don't know if they can pull off saving all 3 if the inner team goes for the 1-3-1. It just sort of depends on how they want to split up their champions. This Anivia is really starting to be able to, as long as she can stay safe, her ult's going to make sure that these minions don't get too far into the base, if at all. It does look like we have a Knight's Vow picked up by Alistar and has linked that to Ezreal. So Ezreal is going to be taking a little bit less damage, a little more damage onto the Alistar, who will get a little bit healing for all the damage that that Ezreal pumps out. So the more damage Ezreal can pump out in a fight, the better. The problem is he is under leveled right now, being only level 12 compared to like the 14s of the solo laners and the 13s of the junglers here, means that he just now hits 13. He may not be able to pump out the damage that he absolutely would like to at this point of the game, but hopefully it should be enough to keep the team at bay, or at least the minion waves at bay, before we get into an extended siege. And it looks like a little bit of wave manipulation here coming out on the side of the wannabes that's kind of struggling here. They're trying to have both their top wave and their mid lane bounce, as Kled is going to burn his ult as an escape. But they're having all 4 people here in both the top and mid, and they're not keeping the minions that are coming out of the red side base to preventing from hitting their minions. So they're not juggling both the 2 waves as the group of 4 well enough to try and get multiple waves crashing at the same time, which is then when you would say more separation. And this is part about closing out a game that it can be particularly tricky, especially for a team that wants to be a diving team. But it's really hard to dive into Anivia once she's gotten, her Seraphs, or she's almost to the Seraphs, but she does have the... oh, never mind. If you just land a hook from Ziggy, that could be the end of it, as Hecarim's going to ult on in, and we'll just go a little bit bigger mode here, as she is going to drop. And with the Anivia going down, Zach's going to try and get some return damage on here, as he's going to pull the Thresh into the tower. But the shields is going to be absolutely way too strong, as Crit's coming out. 1 more damage. Kled is not here for this. Anivia is trying to... Aurelia is getting in onto Ahri, and Psychopath has to flash ult with the ult. Crit's coming out on the side of Jhin, and finally Kled is here, as... Zach jumps back in as we're trying to juggle all of the action going on here for you. Down goes Zach out of Bloblet form, and there are minions pushing in onto this tier of this inhibitor tower. Oh, geez, the crits coming out on top side of Jhin right now are really strong. And 1 more auto attack flash Q misses for Butterfreelo. That could have been the chance to take down Ahri. So a pretty decent job at defending all of their inhibitor towers on the side of Bronze 5 Age. A lot of them got some damage dealt to them. By a lot, I mean that one a little bit, like not even a quarter. This one a whole bunch, about 85 to 90%. But that's something that they can sustain from and keep the game going. And so they didn't give up. They did die a little bit, but they didn't give up any ultimate, sins as the losing an inhibitor on that split push put out by the Kled. So, a lot more stable, consistent game coming out here. Now we are still on the side of Wannabes are up. At this point, they had already won game 1, but they've given up 1 more tower in this game than they did in the first game. If you're just kind of looking at that, but their gold lead is only 8k now. We'll see if they can get to expand this. But I don't. This is gonna. I mean, we're starting to see a lot of people at 3 getting to their 4th items, and plus your boots. If you want to see that, your 5th. Once you see that point, we're going to start seeing full builds here in the next 10 to 15 minutes, and then at that point it's just going to be who outplays it, and the tanks may be able to sustain through all that extra damage, as they want to get that blue buff onto Anivia so she can help the siege, as Zach and Alistar are just running bodyguard here, so she can get back to base. And oh jeez, all that armor on the side of Zach meant that Ahri damage is a lot at the moment. Probably, I know it looks like getting another armor item to prevent the physical damage, but probably needs to pick up a Spirit Visage in there somewhere, help get some cooldown reduction, get some health for you, buddy. Definitely get that, extra mana not mana, like health regen and a bonus to any healing you do. And Zach does a lot of healing with his little bloblets everywhere and passive. So Baron just came live, as well as another dragon. So maybe looks like Bronze 5H are probably willing to trade again, dragon for Baron. And I don't know, but I think that's kind of a risky play. Ezreal is going to come out and chunk out a nice health of the Thresh and Hecarim there, but that's not going to particularly matter, as they will pick up the Baron, and they're going to have a straight teleport in onto this top wave by the Kled, and they're trying to get this wave pushed in, as they did pick up the second Ocean Drake, so that's going to be really nice for these long sustained sieges, especially for Anivia, as she's going to need that mana regen. She's going to try and need that health regen for all the poke that's going to be coming out on the side of Jhin, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough against these Baron up minions, as they're trying to get them in off of the tower. Zach's going to go in already. Nice Thresh Flay coming out from the Zac, preventing him from getting in, but Kled is doing work on this tower with the help of super minions, and they're all backing off. Everyone backed off. They all used the Baron-powered recall to buy. If you're going to do the Baron-powered recall to buy after you pick it up, probably should do it before you burn your teleport and send your teleporter to top lane for like 3 waves, and you push in mid lane for like 2 or 3 waves. You're just delaying it. I know you got a little bit more gold, but it's better to just back, buy some pinks. I only see 2 pinks so far, one on Ahri, one on Thresh. Buy some pinks, get them set up defensively so you don't get flanked by the Zac or the Irelia, and then try and push out after you've done that, and so you can control your waves better than pushing out and then backing that way. So if you're gonna not back right away, probably should try and consistently keep with all in, as Aurelia here is just keeping that wave frozen, and they sent 4 people over to deal with the Hecarim, and that was not the right choice, as they're gonna lose both inhibitor towers, and this is not looking good now for Bronze 5H, as the split push here, the 1-3-1, is way in favor of the enemy team now that they've slowly kind of figured out how they wanted to position themselves in team. And Zach's going to go in onto Hecarim, but Kled and Jhin are going to finish up this tower. So they've already lost the 1 inhibitor in mid lane. It looks like they may lose the second inhibitor up here in top wave, and Hecarim's working on that inhibitor in bot lane. If this is 3 inhibitors down, I haven't seen rarely any game go over 3 towers. So they're going to go full engage here onto the team, and they're going to take down the Ahri right away as they're trying to get in onto this Jhin. They want you to finish this out. Flashes are coming out from all sides of the team, as Kled's going to come in from the backside, and Alistar's going to boot out of the way. Anivia is stuck in the base against Kled, sorry. Hecarim came in from the backside. Ezreal's trying to chase in on this as well. They need to get this finished off, as they've lost all 3 inhibitors. Anivia and Kled are fighting up here. Go to Kled. There's Kled. We'll see if he takes down Shadow. Nope, not enough. And down goes the Frosty Bird, as we drop back down to mid lane here, as we see Zac trying to clear out there. There's a nice hook by Ziggy, going to go in with the Flay here. And that should be enough damage with the super minions and Baron buff to take out the Zac, and with all 3 inhibitors down, it's pretty much, we're seeing the end of this tale come to an end. End of this tale come to an end? What is up with my terms tonight? They are terrible. I'm like right on the cusp of getting a nice like little line there, and then I, squiggle out of it, or squiggle out of the box, or however you want to put it. Well, no more Baron for the wannabes here, and it's probably just amount of time as Psychopath's getting absolutely chunked out by all the damage here, and they just have super minions pushing in all of the lanes. Everyone just goes back and buys, and they just slowly push in and take out the channels here, as they finally, Ansem's going to be able to get a return kill for them, and there goes one more tower. So Ezreal coming out. They're trying to get all the CSs they can, so they're going to bump up that score for well. And they're actually up in kills now at the moment, so okay, Kitties, but it's really just the fact that they're out of towers and they're out of anything. Zach trying to get as much CC down as he possibly can. Hecarim's going to go into the back, and Ezreal's going to go out as Anivia is just stuck on wave clear duty and trying to keep people off of the Nexus here. So Ezreal's trying to bump out damage, and Aurelia is trying to clear some stuff out as well. And it's not going to work as Ari Charms goes out as well, and they're just going to finish it up, and minions finally take out the the Nexus. Whew. Chaotic ending to a very differently paced game here in this one. Definitely not the kill fest that was game 1. A lot more consistent play, and the dive comp didn't get off to the snowballing lead that it could accomplish, and I think that was a lot due to all the skirmishes going in favor of Irelia, Zach, and Anivia in the top half of the map. Early also, better freeload, much better performance on the Ezreal in this game. Was definitely up in CS against Idocles' Jhin in the bot lane, and anytime that Thresh did want to go in, he couldn't because the Alistar was a good counter to that in the bot lane, which meant that Ziggy couldn't roam as much as he wanted to, or we've seen him do in the past, which allowed for a much more stable laning phase into the mid game, where we had mistakes from both teams. Bronze 5 definitely more favoring getting those extra dragons than doing Baron control. I don't know if they just felt that they were behind and they needed to try and get something, and so they were trading Baron for dragon, but they got the steal in the first game, so Alsam definitely can get steals, and we saw him do that on the Gragas, so he maybe could have done that on the Zac and gotten something taken away from Vance. But this is, once again, I'm in the spectator mode, so I get to sit back and watch it from this perspective, compared to being live in the game and trying to make those decisions. Although the two Oceans Drakes are very enticing, especially for the Anivia and the sustain that you want to keep up against a dive team that if they don't fully commit to the dive and you are able to back off, you can sustain up and then wait for the next wave and see if they commit again. But if they do fully commit, that sustain doesn't really help you in that aspect. So it's kind of, you're playing with fire, and they got burnt a little bit on that end. But definitely a very entertaining match. So I want to thank both teams here for letting me do this, and I'm going to blame Idocles for not joining me this evening. Scrub person goes and subs for teams that need help. So, but congrats to him for subbing in the very last second and picking up the victories for them. So we will look here at the damages, because I know people want to see them coming out on the side of the teams. And Jhin, once again, top of the damage chart. But I really lot better performance. And the dual tanks of the Zac Alistar was a little bit better appealing on this one than the Gragas Galio, who are kind of all-in tanks. Zac can be an all-in tank, but same with Alistar, but a little bit better job. I guess that in last game they had 3 tanks. So they had Gragas and Braum and Galio. So way more tankiness. The extra damage coming out on the side of Aurelia really helpful in that impact in the split pushing. So, and we can look at the little ward stats. Definitely a much longer game than game 1 by over 10 minutes. So definitely better ward scores and placement and destroyed for both teams here. I didn't really talk about vision that much. That's something that it's a little better when you have 2 people casting and you can do a give and take when you look at them. So we'll see. Maybe next time we can get that done for you. So my voice is kind of shot after work today too. So I'm actually, normally we do interviews, but I'm just going to drop them for tonight. Hopefully the teams don't mind that I'm going to slip out early in this instance and just sort of end it here. So thanks everyone for watching. Look for more streams maybe later this week. I'm not exactly sure what everyone's schedules are, but I believe we will probably get more matches either coming up later this week, later this season. And please stop by and not only watch them, but hopefully maybe you'll be one of the lucky teams. And that will be next time on Vantage Casting from the Amos channel. Good night, everyone.